So I'm going to ask for some questions, and I'm only going to ask for 3. But I think if you see why I'm only asking for 3, afterwards you will say, actually, we were grateful and we are happy to you, because I may have a happy surprise for you. So let's have our first questioner.
Yeah, my name is Erick Hachenburg from Border Media in Germany, and I've got a problem. We are right now in the middle of producing a series of online video formats. And of course, we'd like to use copyrighted music. The idea for this series is to super distribute all the videos on YouTube, 7Load, MetaCafe, etc. So we're talking to the society in Germany, we're talking to the labels, but it's nearly impossible to reach any kind of agreement for that type of model right now in the digital space, where you cannot predict whether a video on MetaCafe or YouTube or Dailymotion will get one view or 100 or 1 million, where you don't really know. Sometimes you know whether that single platform that you're exchanging information with has an agreement in place with the society in that respective country, or where users can actually then take that clip and cross-publish those on the website via, like, post this on your website. Right, I would like to do it legally. Right now it's close to impossible. Maybe you have some ideas.
Patrick and Eric, how are you going to solve this gentleman's problem?
Well, if I knew, I think we would not be having this conversation. First, the respective content owners or creators or the respective people in the creative value chain have different rights and different positions and different capacities to authorize things. Typically, authors and composers and publishers, when they work through societies, don't ask for upfront payments. Don't ask for advances. They just want to make sure that the end user, being MetaCafe in that case, would agree to pay a part of the revenues that they were generating through the sale of commercials or subscriptions or whatever to authors and composers. After that, we would figure out how many times one of your videos would have been viewed, and the underlying music would be analyzed, and the authors and composers would be compensated. Other people with other rights have different business models, and it's probably more difficult to provide solutions because you need to anticipate things. The difficulty, of course, is that if you get a license from, or if MetaCafe gets a license from my members, and they don't have a license from a critical element in the value chain, maybe a record company or somebody else, a film studio, it doesn't help you because you don't have the 100% of the rights. That's why, A, we are trying to do our bit. We're trying to work as much as possible to find ways to accommodate new business models. We're talking to people. We're talking to YouTube. We're talking to Google. We're talking to others, us or our members. We're also trying to make sure that we have better dialogues with our counterparts, our people in the creative industries. There is a history of difficulties between societies, record companies, movie studios. It will never be a very easy relationship. Of course, there is only so much money there that can be shared amongst those organizations. But we at CZAC, and I think many people in the recording business and the film business, we think that we should work harder together to try to provide solutions that would enable you to get your answers quicker.
And maybe next year. Let's have sooner than that. Sooner than that. Okay. Another question?
I'd like to ask James Boyle a more basic question. I'm from Portugal. I'm a media group. I'd like to ask you, what is the role of the media companies? What is the role of professional entertainment creators and journalistic contents creators when we have more and more our contents? If we have a good program, it's on YouTube the same day. If we buy or if we create sports rights, the goals from my compatriot Cristiano Ronaldo, which is, by the way, the best player in the world, are immediately...
Be careful, you have a Brazilian here.
No problem. Go ahead.
And then when we have a payroll to pay our journalists, to pay our entertainment creators, and we have shareholders, and we have to survive. And I'm not as pessimistic as Thomas Middelhoff was this morning, saying that newsprint and printed media will disappear. And I hope that the radicalism of the former Prime Minister of Norway against advertising does not prevail. But anyway, I think it fits into this discussion to speak about this more basic problem of the rights and the role of the media in the openness society that you defend.
I think the answer to that, and I think maybe we'll make that the last question, I think the answer to that is that you're quite right with perhaps some of the most distinguished entrepreneurs in the world assembled in one place to ask a law professor to solve that problem. I think the answer is, to be honest, that we don't know exactly what the role of entertainment companies, video companies will be. I think we will have an extraordinarily flourishing professional amateur community of people who are very, very good at what they do, but don't do it necessarily in order to earn money or don't do it as their main source of money. And I think that we will have a variety of different kind of intermediary functions being performed, some of which have not yet even been invented. One record producer, though, called this Tarzan economics. He goes, I know I have to let go of the vine of that last revenue stream, but where is the vine of the next revenue stream? Then again, if you hold on to the vine too long, you're not Tarzan, but George of the Jungle.